The U.S. has completed its first airdrop of humanitarian supplies into Gaza following similar moves from Jordan, France, and others in an attempt to get more food inside the Gaza Strip, while simultaneously trying to stop Israel from finishing to mop up Hamas in Gaza so that the war can actually end and people's lives can get back to normal. But no, prolonging the war by pressuring Israel to leave a quarter of Hamas terrorists alive inside the Gaza Strip seems to be the preference of most civilized nations of the world. Meanwhile, the world's favorite pick for who should run Gaza the day after the war, the Palestinian Authority, also known as the terrorist faction of Fatah, are showing their true colors by killing 2 Jews in Samaria and saying that Hitler had obvious reasons for perpetrating the Holocaust. You know, because the Jews were trying to take over Germany. Guys, this stuff is absolutely crazy. I'm Josiah, and this is the Israel Guys. That was a video of the IDF in Gaza using unique methods to clear a terror tunnel on the ground. Welcome to the Israel Guys, where we believe that in a world of Jew hatred and anti-Israel propaganda, you should have a direct connection to the land and people of Israel. Welcome back to the show. We're going to get into everything that's happening inside of Israel today, including the US's airdrop of humanitarian supplies into Gaza. But first, make sure to subscribe to the Israel Guys here, hit that like button, and click the notification bell if you never want to miss an episode of the Israel Guys. Make sure to follow us on all our social media platforms as well. So, following similar moves by Jordan and France and several other countries, I think with coordination with Egypt and the UAE, the U.S., United States, just completed their first airdrop of humanitarian supplies into the Gaza Strip on Saturday. This was a combined operation between the U.S. Air Force and the Royal Jordanian Air Force. They dropped, I believe, 38,000 meals into Gaza and dropped it right along the Gaza coastline there. Joe Biden announced this new move to get humanitarian supplies into Gaza the day before the actual airdrop happened. And I want to read some of the statements he made when he made this announcement. Joe Biden said, "We're going to pull out every stop we can," referring to getting aid into Gaza. He said, "In addition to expanding deliveries by land, as I said, we're going to insist that Israel facilitate more trucks and more routes to get more and more people the help they need. No excuses. Aid flowing to Gaza is nowhere near enough. Innocent lives are on the line and children's lives are on the line. We should be getting hundreds of trucks in, not just several, and I won't stand by. We won't let up, and we're trying to pull out every stop we can to get more assistance in." That was from Commander-in-Chief of the United States, President Joe Biden, talking about how he is going to pressure Israel, insist that Israel allow more aid trucks into the Gaza Strip. Now, Israel has, thankfully, Israel should and does actually have complete control of what goes into the Gaza Strip, as well they should. And Israel has allowed many aid trucks into the Gaza Strip. Some of them, Israel tries to insist, the ones that come in through Israeli territory, Israel tries to insist that they search each convoy to make sure there's not weapons being snuck in there. And they've also tried to do that at the borders between Egypt and Gaza, making sure that somebody is going to inspect these trucks to make sure there's not weapons being given to Hamas. Not only that, but many of these trucks that have gone in with humanitarian aid, with medical supplies, with food, with water, meant for the civilians inside of Gaza, many of those trucks have been hijacked by Hamas terrorists, and who knows if the food ever got to the civilians. There have even been a lot of reports, not a lot of confirmed reports, but a lot of different rumors and reports flying around from the Gaza Strip saying that Hamas is actually selling a lot of this aid back to the Gazan people after they stole it on its way inside the Gaza Strip. So Israel, the bottom line here is that the United States should not, nobody should be able to insist, nobody should be able to pressure Israel into doing something that is not good for the IDF's mission inside of Gaza. The IDF's mission is to, as quickly as possible, eliminate all of Hamas inside of Gaza, which helps out everybody, not just Israel, keeps Israel safe, but it also helps out those who are being oppressed by Hamas inside the Gaza Strip. Yes, I'm talking about Palestinians as well. That helps Palestinians. So nobody should be able to pressure Israel or should be allowed, I should say, to be insisting, pressuring, demanding Israel do something that may not be for the good of what the IDF is trying to accomplish, which in the end is trying to save as many lives as possible. And guys, we're dealing with war here. Unfortunately, war is not very pretty, and war takes time, and the war is not optimal in any sort of situation. But the IDF has a clear objective. Israel has a clear objective, and they need to obtain those objectives inside the Gaza Strip in order to return peace and security to the area, to the nation of Israel, and to Gaza, to the actual Gaza Strip. We'll get back to the show in just 1 second, but first, are you frustrated that you can't read the Bible in its original Hebrew? Have you ever wondered what you're missing by reading the Bible in translation? Well, here's your chance to tap into a deeper meaning of the Bible through Hebrew. Introducing 75 Hebrew words you need to understand the Bible. This beautifully crafted coffee table-sized book unravels the hidden meaning behind 75 core Hebrew words that are central to the Bible's teaching. Each word is accompanied by an in-depth essay exploring its significance, connections to related Hebrew words, and the secrets only accessible through the original language. This book is a valuable resource for Bible study, a captivating conversation starter, and an ideal gift for your loved ones. Immerse yourself in the world of 75 Hebrew words and experience a transformative journey that deepens your connection to God. Don't miss out. Get your copy today and enrich your spiritual journey with the essence of the Hebrew Bible. Click the link down in the description below to get your copy today. One of the terrorists who, we talked about it. Unfortunately, there was a very terrible terrorist attack in Samaria last Thursday. Actually, it was on Thursday, and Ben talked about it on a show on Friday, I believe. And he was one of the terrorists that carried out that attack at this gas station. And I want to bring this up because this is who the world is trying to, the world's first pick for who should run the Gaza Strip after Israel takes and finishes up with Hamas. One of the terrorists who carried out this attack where 2 Jews were murdered at this gas station in close to the Jewish community of Eli. This terrorist who killed 2 Jews, one of the terrorists, was a police officer from the Palestinian Authority. This is the same Palestinian Authority that Joe Biden wants to take over and to rule the Gaza Strip. It's the first pick of everybody in the world. Most countries in the world, this is their first pick for who should run the Gaza Strip after Hamas is taken care of. That is, if Israel is allowed to go in and actually finish the job they started in taking out Hamas. The IDF, after this attack happened, I think 5 o'clock in the evening on Thursday. The IDF on Thursday night actually operated in that terrorist hometown of Kalandia and mapped his home for demolition. This is a very, very good move. It's a very effective move in actually preventing terrorism when the IDF goes in and maps out for demolition and actually destroys that terrorist home in his house. It sends a very, very clear message to to his family, not only his family, but the whole inhabitants of that town. The IDF actually announced that there were 3 terrorists that carried out this attack, 2 of which were killed at the scene. Thankfully, they were stopped. One of whom was from the owner of the restaurant that was nearby, the Hummus Eliyahu restaurant there, a reservist who had just returned from Gaza and very calmly, heroically opened fire and saved many, many lives by taking out this terrorist here. 2 of the terrorists were killed there, and the 3rd one was located and neutralized, thankfully, by IDF forces shortly afterwards. And a little bit of a personal note here. We actually use, here at the Israel Guys, our team uses this gas station at Eli very, very often to get gas for our vehicles. The Hummus Eliyahu joint that the owner of whom shot and killed the terrorist, that Hummus Eliyahu, we have been there many times to dine there at the restaurant. It's a very, very good place to get hummus here in Israel. Very authentic hummus experience. And I was actually in Jerusalem at the time of the attack and traveled back several hours later. And I had to actually take a detour around, quite a ways around, to get back home to where we live up here in Samaria, because the main highway, Highway 60, where this gas station is located right alongside, was still blocked off because of the incident, the terror attack there. And unfortunately, Jews in Israel live with this terrible situation of constantly being exposed to radical terrorism, which is most of who live inside of Israel, most of the Arabs who live inside of Israel, the Palestinians who live especially inside of Judea and Samaria, this radical idea that they want to kill Jews. It's their top goal, to kill Jews, to wipe the Jews from the actual map. It's a terrible situation, but unfortunately it's happening. And the man who carried out this attack, one of the terrorists, was a police officer from the Palestinian Authority, the supposed partners for peace, the people that Joe Biden wants to create a two-state solution with. A two-state solution with Israel and the Palestinian Authority, because the Palestinian Authority is peaceful, right? I think not. And just to prove this a little bit further, this is another example of who the Palestinian Authority actually is. Who are the people that are running this Palestinian Authority, the political faction of Fatah? And this is from a TV interview from about a week or so ago, and it was kind of buried in Arabic TV because these interviews are going on in Arabic and not everybody sees it, but it was just translated by the Middle East Media Research Institute. And this is very, very eye-opening. This is an official of the Palestinian Authority, Yasser Abu Sidu. He said the reason Hitler perpetrated the Holocaust was obvious. And I'm going to read the transcript of what he said in this interview, because it's a little bit easier to read the transcript for you guys than for you to actually read the subtitles. But I encourage you, go watch the video for yourself. I'll put the link down in the description below. So this official of the Palestinian Authority, the supposed peace partners, right, that are supposed to be create a peaceful two-state solution with the state of Israel, according to Joe Biden and the UN and England and all these other countries that are trying to create a two-state solution, force a two-state solution inside of Israel. This is what he said. Several European, American, and Arab officials have said that an Israeli attack against the Palestinians in Rafah would constitute a no lesser crime than the Holocaust. I would like to ask, why did the Holocaust happen? I'm not a fan of Hitler, but when Hitler perpetrated the Holocaust, he had obvious reasons. The Jews in global Zionism were offered various places in the world, in Argentina and Uganda, and the north of Sinai and the south of Iraq, but they chose Palestine for other reasons that we may mention later. They planned to take control of Germany, started to bring down Germany in terms of the economy and moral values. Hitler reacted by making the Jews go on the streets and lick the sidewalks. This we know very well. End quote. This is an official of the Palestinian Authority, also known as the political / terrorist faction of Fatah, who have committed many terror attacks against Jews from the military faction of Fatah, run by the Palestinian Authority. This official is saying that Hitler had obvious reasons for the Holocaust. He's not saying, he said he's not a fan of Hitler, but obviously he's supporting what he did to the Jews in the Holocaust in Germany, and just boldly, blatantly spouting the lie that the reason the Holocaust happened was because the Jews were trying to take over Germany. Like, where did that even come from? Who has even said that before? Like, he just pulling this right out of like thin air. Oh, this is a fact. Everybody knows, right? The Jews were trying to take over Germany. This is absolutely ridiculous. This is Jew hatred, anti-Semitism in its vilest form. Very, very, this is exactly what Hitler was trying to say. This is exactly how Hitler got most of his country and many of the countries around and the Nazis, how he got everybody on board to actually kill the Jews was to spout lies just like this. Do these people really sound like they are qualified partners for peace to create a peaceful two-state solution, what do you think would happen if, God forbid, there was a state created and they were to chop the land of Israel in half, or not even in half, but the whole center of the country, the whole heart of Israel was taken out, ripped out of the nation of Israel and given to the Palestinian Authority to create a state? Would we have peace? I think you guys can really answer that question for yourselves. It's becoming more and more obvious. Unfortunately, for those and actually for those who have been watching and actually had their eyes open for the last decades, many decades, it has been obvious onto who these people actually are and what their end goals are. Unfortunately, there cannot be any peace with the Palestinians, with Arabs, until they are taught, they start teaching their children to stop teaching their children, I should say, to kill Jews and to rid the world, cleanse the world of Jews, just like what Hitler taught in 1938, 1939 Germany. Things need to change before any of that happens. And no, the Palestinian Authority is not going to have a heart change overnight and decide, oh, now we want peace. We've been waging war against Israel for 50, 60, 70 years, but now we want, we're going to turn over a new leaf and stop killing Jews. Unfortunately, guys, that is a delusion that many in the world are trying to convince themselves of very, very hard, including, unfortunately, the President of the United States, Joe Biden, and many other countries around the world. All right, guys, that is it for today. Don't forget to check out the 75 Hebrew Words book. Don't forget to subscribe to the Israel Guys here. Thank you so much for watching today's show, and get the conversation going down below. As always, tune out the fake news and tune into what is actually happening here in the heartland of Israel. We'll be back every day, Monday through Friday, with your direct connection to the land and people of Israel.